Hey Pokemon Masters, Burky here, and did it ever bother you that Lance has 3 level 47 Dragonites, even though Dragonair doesn't evolve till level 50? I'm sure he probably just transferred them from Let's Go or something. I don't know, maybe SOS chained for a level 1 Dragonite in Alola or something. Or maybe he's just a big fraud. Let's dive in. Okay, so hey Pokemon Masters, yeah, there are champions of the Pokemon world that are pretty well known, right? You got Steven Stone, the champion son of the Devon Corporation, right? I mean, he's the son of the Devon. He's the son of the guy who runs Devon Corporation. You've got Cynthia, the woman literally steeped in the myth of the Sinnoh region. Then you got Lance, who in Generation 1 really didn't have much of a story, and in fact is barely even a champion. He addresses himself as the leader of the Elite Four, but we don't see this in any other Elite Four. Like, Karen isn't the leader of the Elite Four of the Johto region. Presumably, again, it's Lance, the champion. Because yeah, he makes a return as a champion. Drake is not the leader of the Elite Four in Hoenn, as far as we know. And in fact, by the time we get to Generation 5, the Elite Four members can be battled in any order, so this idea of a best one is out of the picture. So Lance is a little bit of an enigma. We know that he's a strong trainer, but is he as strong as we all make out? Because there's been questions about Lance for the longest time. Not only does it not make sense to have a dragon champion in a region that literally only has one family of dragon Pokemon, or the fact that in Johto, 3 of his Dragonites are under the level they would need to be to evolve, and several of his Pokemon have moves that they shouldn't know, like Aerodactyl knowing Rock Slide, or Dragonite knowing Barrier. But just in general, like in the relationship to the Kanto region, who is he? We know in Johto he came from the Dragon Den, an order of Dragon Masters going back generations. I don't have an actual date, so I just say generations and it sounds right. And he is the cousin to the Blackthorn City gym leader Claire, who reveres him as much stronger than herself. But aside from that, we know nothing about Lance. And the more I look at Lance, the more I can't help but feel like he's for show. And look, this theory is more speculation. It's more like I'm waiting on that final big bit of evidence. I'm waiting for the penny to drop, and I think it might even do soon. But if Lance isn't kind of who we all think he is, if he's not really a champion, then how does that work? Why would I even really think that? Well, my suspicions arose first when I first saw him in Let's Go. You know, that aside from the moves that he shouldn't know or the underlevel Dragonite. In Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, Lance is the only one of the Elite Four to take on a really dramatic redesign. His costume entirely changes, and actually it looks just like that, a costume. But he also, and it might just be the chibi art style here, looks way younger than any of his other appearances. He goes from expert of the dragon type, master dragon tamer, to teenage heartthrob in a cape. My fabulance! Lance is referred to canonically in the world of Pokemon as Fabulance. He is a little bit of a celebrity, he is a little bit of an idol. And again, this is like one of the only bits of Gen 1 extra knowledge we have about him. In the Celadon City department store, he buys the same cape over and over again, like it's a costume, like it's a bit of an act, it's all for show. He does have a bit of a fan following, and he's known for being heroic specifically. My guess is that Lance isn't just a champion, but maybe he's like a TV star, maybe he's an actor. Because also in Let's Go, we finally get a little bit of a mystery about Lieutenant Surge solved. Lieutenant Surge constantly referenced for being in the Pokemon War, you know, the theory that grips the minds of Pokemon fans across the world. But at the end of the battle with Lieutenant Surge, he gives you his autograph. Almost like the Pokemon War is not a real thing, it's a TV show, and that him being a lieutenant is a little bit of an act. It's actually really awesomely the same gym badge that we see in Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon in the room of the protagonist that's been signed. So is it possible that characters like Lance are just for show? And that he's not actually a champion? Well, maybe. We do know from other Pokemon canons that he is a powerful Pokemon trainer. We see him take on Team Rocket in the Gold and Silver arc, and in fact we also see this in Pokemon Generations, although oddly enough, he does sort of just like outright attack people with Dragonite's Hyper Beam, which is a very evil team thing to do. And speaking of evil teams, in the Pokemon Adventures manga, half of the Kanto Pokemon League are like related to Team Rocket and involved in the Team Rocket plan. If Lance really is the champion of all this, then he's not done a very good job of keeping it very well in line. And in fact, he's not had to battle in a while. Agatha is known for saying, it's been a while since anyone's been able to collect all of the gym badges to take on the Pokemon League, and that's partly in due to the fact that Giovanni, a member of Team Rocket, well, the head of Team Rocket, runs the final Pokemon gym. So yeah, no one's been taking the Pokemon gym on, which means Lance really hasn't had anyone to battle. And this whole idea of Pokemon battles being shown for television, for spectacle, it's not only reflected in the first ever Pokemon episode where Ash is watching a member of the Elite Four doing a battle on TV, that being very clearly Bruno, but also in the latest episodes of the animated show, we see specifically Lance go out to battle the other lovely L-named lad, Leon, and have a dynamic dragon battle with him. These two characters are very, very similar. For one, they both wear capes, which, okay, that's not really a similarity. I don't know why I bother bringing it up. But also, Leon specifically is someone that the Pokemon community for a while have been wondering, are his matches rigged? Is it possible to rig a Pokemon match? After all, Leon is supposedly an unbeaten champion, and yet, when you battle him in Sword and Shield, presumably, if you finish the game, you manage to beat him. And the only thing that's new, the only thing that's different since all the previous battles and the one you have with him, is that he's no longer under the control of Chairman Rose, the person who basically ran the Pokemon League in Galar. So is it possible that there's someone pulling similar strings in Kanto? Maybe Team Rocket, maybe Giovanni, maybe this whole idea of a league and dragon Pokemon, it is all very showman-like. In fact, again, half of Lance's team's not really a dragon. Aerodactyl, Charizard, Gyarados, Seadra in Let's Go, all because Seadra evolves into Kingdra in later games. Oh, and of course, Alolan Exeggutor, which hardly counts as a dragon, come on. What blew my mind even more is that Lance's appearance in the TV series alongside Leon is in a fight where he's using his red Gyarados against Lance's Charizard. A fire type versus a water type, and somehow, of course, Lance, even though he's a champion, loses. And this idea of rigged matches isn't even just in the minds of the fans, because while it seemed that way up until the game launched, after the Isle of Armor came out, we got the leak card of the old champion of Galar, Mustard. And according to Mustard's leak card, he was the champion for 18 years, undefeated, until he was asked to win a rigged match. Now, we don't know anything about this match, who it was against, whether it was against Leon. I mean, after all, Mustard's league card number is 0 and Leon's is 1, so potentially Leon is the champion that follows. Is it possible that this is the match that was rigged, maybe being run by Chairman Rose or a different chairman at the time? There's a lot of questions about this and a lot of mystery about this that we covered in the Leon being a cheater kind of video. But what we do know is this idea of rigged matches is out there. And this all leads to one big question. How do you rig a Pokemon match? I mean, do you do what Clara did in the Pokemon Isle of Armor DLC and throw out toxic spikes onto the field early? Or do you maybe bring Gigantamax Pokemon when that was never in the rules before? For example, one of the things we know about Mustard through the Pokemon website, I'm going to put a screenshot there if I can still find it, is that Mustard never used Gigantamax Pokemon in his battles, but of course Leon does. Using something that's not quite in the rules of the league, is that what makes a rigged match? How about using a Pokemon that knows moves that it shouldn't know? Does that make it a rigged match? Or Pokemon that are underleveled, or perhaps came from entirely different regions, like SOS chaining or playing Pokemon Go, which I'm pretty sure Lance didn't do. I don't know. It feels like something is suspect there, something is up. But ultimately, as I said before, this is speculation. It feels like it's still waiting on that one big bit of evidence to drop. That said, there is a question that still goes unanswered, which is, if someone is pulling the strings and that Lance is just a TV personality, fabulous! If that is the case, who is it pulling the strings? Is it the real champion of the Kanto Pokemon League? Because oh yeah, Lance isn't even the champion of the Kanto League. He's one of the Elite Four. And sure, the champion at the end of the battle is your rival, but who was there before your rival? But that's a question for another video. A Pokemon theory that I have a lot more evidence for, and I'm a lot more excited about. You'll have to wait and see with that one. That will be out very, very soon. You're gonna have to let me know what you think about Lance. Do you have any different thoughts about him, or are you like, no, look, across all Pokemon canons, this guy is just flat out a powerful Pokemon trainer and a hero? You'll have to let me know, of course, in the comments. And with all that being said, soar high, Pokemon Masters.
This is Ash Ketchum, You just watched a video by Birdkeeper Toby. That makes you a Pokemon Master!
A special thank you to those you supporting this channel on Patreon, including the big patrons of the month, Nick Charles and Bugcatcher J. Thanks, heroes.